this example, I'm going to go through how to import a pipe survey into our office software, Carlson Survey, via field to finish. The process will create all the necessary labels and will also draw the pipes in 3D. Along with that, it will also create a .sew file, which you can then utilize in the hydrology module, if you so wish. To start with, let's take a look at the job in our field software, ServCE. This is our default screen, and I've already set a job up. I'm now going to go into the feature code list. You can see that I've already created a couple of codes. That was just by clicking on add, and I went through and filled out the information. So if we click on pipe and then I click edit, you can see here I can put it into any category I like. I can change the layer, I can put the full text, I can change to a number of different types of colors to show on the screen. My entity type is going to be a 3D polyline, so I'm just going to go ahead and green tick that. It's interesting to note that ServCE uses a .fcl file. That FCL file can be read directly into the Carlson Survey Office software, and the Carlson Office software can also generate an FCL file. So you can create your code table in ServCE and then have that used in the Office software, or vice versa. The choice is up to you. I'm just going to go back and hit save on that. I'm going to go to my survey store point screen, and so I'm going to put my first point here. It's going to be a pipe. I'm going to use a diameter of 0.6 meters. The type of pipe is a PVC. The name is going to be a main, so I'm just going to call it main. And then I'm going to measure an invert down to 1.25 meters. So I'll go ahead and store that point, and then away I go. What popped up before was some GIS attributing. We're not going to use it for this example, so I'm just going to send that on its way. Again, I'm just going to repeat the process again. So it's a 0.6, it's PVC, it's a main, 1.45. I'll store that point, and that's stored. So I'm just going to store another one after it goes on a little bit further. 0.6 PVC main 1.65. So stored that point as well. Let's out of that. We'll say the next point is going to be up here somewhere. Somewhere there. Again, pipe PVC main 1.85. Oops. Then we've got the diameter in there. So we'll go ahead and store that point as well. If I go to have a look at my points file, and I can go down to points. So here are our 4 points. You can see all the codes there. It's all done. Okay, so now that we've finished in the field, we're now back in the office. Gone ahead and created a new job. I'm in the survey module. I've gone to points. And then I've gone set coordinate file. So I'm using the CRDB file that I created in ServCE. And so if I go to points, edit points, I can see that my points are already here, so they're exactly the same. I'll just make a note now that the order that I put the description in, 0.6 PVC main and then the invert, that can be in any order that you so choose, so just whatever you're used to in the field, within reason. But the Office software can then go ahead and pick up on that. You can pick the order in there. So we're going to go through that now. So first off, we're going to go into Survey. We'll go Draw Field to Finish. I've got my code table here, my FLD file. Now that FLD file was created, if we go and have a look at the edit codes, it's exactly the same as the ServCE FCL file. I actually created my codes in the Office software, and I then imported that into ServCE. If we have a look here and we click on pipe, click edit, you can see here I've got processing on. So these are all the general settings, how I want the text to display. I'm going to have it as a 3D and a 2D polyline, just so for plotting purposes I can just use my 2D and turn my 3D polyline off. If I go ahead, you can see here, this is the important part, is that my feature type is a pipe. Normally it's a topo, or if you're doing trees it's a tree, but we're going to leave it as pipe, so that's critical. I can change my symbol, line type as well if I want to pick one of the different types of line types. For the time being I'm just going to keep it by layer. Hit OK on that. Now, this is where it gets important. If we go into the pipe setup, we can see in here that this is all we need to tick this box to start with, create pipe network. So that's going to generate our .sew file. You can then see how I want to have it, rim elevation, which is what I'm going to go for. Now this is my description sequence. So this is what I was talking about before. So in the field file, I said I want my pipe size to be 1, my pipe material is 2, the name of the pipe is 3, and the invert depth is 4. So obviously if you choose a different order, you can just go ahead and change this to the order that matches your codes. Same with if you want invert elevation or the rim elevation. GIS attributes, which we'll cover in another video. Connection distance tolerance set at 1. For me, since my job is set in metric, this will display metric pipe sizes. Pipe size input is meters. That's what I've gone ahead and used. In the pipe label settings, we can now see that I can go ahead and I've gone with the default settings. I want to label my pipe length, position of where I want to put it. I want it above the pipe. I can add a prefix and a suffix. In my case, I'm going to have meters, so my suffix is going to be an M. Now my pipe size, I can work in centimeters or millimeters. I like working in millimeters for that. So that'll convert my 0.6 of a meter that I inputted in the field. Because that setting was here, metric input is meters. So I'm going to work in millimeters, so it'll convert it from 0.6 of a meter to 600 millimeters. I want to label it pipe material, pipe slope, how I want to have it. I'm happy with the percent, the name. Now this is how I can go ahead and how I want to draw the pipe. For this I'm going to use 3D faces. I can then view that in the 3D viewer. I could also choose to have it as a 2D polyline, a few different options. So to start with, we're going to go with 3D faces. Pipe direction, I'll put an arrow on the pipe, or I could have it as a parallel leader. I'm going to go with arrow on pipe. I can hatch it if I so choose. We're going to draw pipe thickness as well. Stack the labels, yes. Slope decimal, so you can go through here, you can set all your layers. But I'm happy with it as is for now. So we're going to go to the structure label settings. You can see here, these are all the different options I can have across coming up to each survey point. For this, I'm just going to use my easting, northing, my rim elevation, and the depth. You can see if I double click on that, I can add a suffix or a prefix, so prefix with depth. I want to have it on a new row. Same for the other ones, I'm using easting, so you can just double click on it. I can remove and add in different ones as I so choose. My label format, you can go with individual labels, which is just text. You can have it as an attribute block and select a pre-existing block. I'm going to use a data table, so that'll create a little table at each point. So I'm going to have it left justified, 10 and 10 sounds good. I can put some offsets in there if I so wish. We'll just go ahead and see how that looks for the time being. I can now hit save. This saves a PVL file. Now this is a settings file that I can then share with other people in my company or anyone else to bring in the same settings. I'm going to go ahead and save it to that. Replace it. Hit OK there. Save our field to finish, exit out, and now I can go ahead and run field to finish. So we're going to hit OK. Now this is important, this is where it creates that .sew file. So I can save that and then import it or open it up in the hydrology module to do some further advancements with it. I'm going to hit save on that. Yes. And there's my pipeline. And so now if I zoom in, I can see here's my easting, northern rim and the depth of each point. I've got my labels on there, so 96.86 meters between the 2 points. It's a 600 mil PVC main pipe with a 0.2%. And I can also see the direction in which it's going. And that's it. So now if we go ahead, I can do a quick little view. If I bring up view, I can go to our 3D viewer. Use drawing. Just going to go ahead and select that. Right click to confirm. I can ignore the zero elevations. And now if I zoom in, there's my pipe. I can pan around and have a look. So not only that, you can actually see where my surveyed points are above it. And that's it. I can choose the lighting and so yes, that's some basic pipe work using Field to Finish, Carlson Serve CE and also Carlson Survey Office. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any further questions or queries, please visit our support page at carlsonsw.com/support, where you can find all the latest videos and webinars, access our knowledge base articles, download the latest versions of the software and request demonstrations for other Carlson products.